Okay, hi everyone, welcome to another video, and this one will go over the 2025 PEP curriculum based language arts exam. Alright, so I know you have been searching for it or a video with someone going through it for you so you can at least have an idea of how you did in the exam. Alright, so here goes. I'm going to read from the instruction as it relates to answering the items. Now remember, we're working together. If you pick up any error, then feel free to comment. Remember the rule that you comment, you like, you share the video, you subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Also at the end, then put a final comment to say how many you think you got out of the 40 items in your exam based on what we would have gone through. Let's go. Alright, so the screenshot below is from an electronic notice board at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston, Jamaica. Examine it carefully, then use it to answer item 1 or items 1 to 6. And here we have the electronic board, notice board, and it's showing Monday, September 30, 2024. That's the time for that board, as in the date, and the time is 2:53 p.m. I'm reading from right here. All right, so let's examine the board carefully. It says on this side you're seeing the flights. Over here you have the flights. All right, these are the airlines. In this second column, you have the flight number. Right here in the third column, you have where they're coming from, so arriving from. Then you have the gate number, scheduled arrival time, and then the actual arrival time and the status. So let's go. We're looking at it carefully because we were told to examine it carefully and then use it to answer the items. So let's look at number 1, then we scroll back up to find what we need. How many flights are shown on the electronic notice board? Alright, so let's go. How many flights? You have 2 ways you can look at it. More than 2, because all of them are showing you the number of flights. You can choose to check the flight number. So if you're checking flight number, you have 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can check the airline. So this one came in, that's another one, another, this came in once, another, and this again. So anyway you take it, you're going to have 6 flights coming in. So let's see if we have a 6. And yes, there is 6. So the answer to this one is D. 6 flights came in based on the notice board. Number 2. Which airline appears most frequently? Which one came in most of the 6 times? All right, clearly you're seeing all of these are once. JetBlue is twice. So the most popular, most frequent flight would be JetBlue, and that's A. Number 3. Which term means the same as status, right? Which term means the same as status as used on the electronic notice board? So let's go. They say, is it turbulence, as in how rocky the flight was? Is it the time? Is it the date or the position of the flight? All right, what state is it in? So here we have status at the end, and they're all showing arrived. So based on the notice board, the best word to choose here would be position. What's the position of them now? All right, so they have arrived. Number 4, which statement is best supported by evidence from the electronic notice board? Key term here is best, meaning the others could support, but which is the best? All right, A says Inter-Caribbean is the largest airline. Nothing says that. All right. B says JetBlue is Jamaica's favorite airline. Still can't say that because it never said anything about Jamaicans choosing that one. C says most flights are usually ahead of time. Let us go back and check in a while. D says some flights are delayed for long periods. So we know we're looking between C and D. Let's see, most flights are usually ahead of time. So to know if they're ahead of time, we are now going to have to check two sections, which is the scheduled arrival time and the actual arrival time. So this one was to come 7:50 a.m. It came in 7:50, so that one is on time. All right, so put a tick for that, on time. Let's look at the second flight. Should have been in 8:10 a.m. but it came in 7:55. So we're going to put an arrow, meaning it came in, no, going in the wrong direction, teacher. So we're going to say this one came in ahead of time. Let's put a forward arrow. Next one should be in 9:22, but it came in 9:13. Again, this one came in ahead of time. Next flight should be in 9:52, but it came in 9:32. Another one ahead of time. So it looks like C. This one says the flight should have been in 9:55. It came in 9:35. I don't think we even have to go any further. That one is also another one that came in ahead of time. For the last flight, it should be in 11:13. It came in 11:08. I don't think we need to go anywhere else when we have basically 5 of the 6 flights coming in ahead of time. So we're going to select that one. Most of the flights came in ahead of their time, which is C. All right, number 5. Which two flights had the closest arrival time? Which two closest time in arrival? Let's go back to those arrival times. So now we're not looking at the projected time or the scheduled time. We're looking at the actual time. Which two have the closest arrival time? So we're looking at the first flight, and it's 7:50, 7:55. Those are close. 9:30, 9:32 also close. Let's go. Let's make it smaller so we can see everything at the same time. Then we have 9:35 and 11:08. All right, so which two have the closest arrival time? I am thinking 9:35 and 9:32 because these are just 3 minutes apart, which would make it JetBlue and Caribbean Airlines. So let's look and see if we see any option with JetBlue, Caribbean Airlines. Where are we? Which two flights have the closest actual arrival time? Caribbean Airlines, JetBlue, which is B. Alright, there we go. Moving on. Number 6. Which is supported by evidence from the electronic notice board. Alright, so based on the evidence, is it that the Inter-Caribbean flies from Trinidad and Tobago? B says flights from New York have the most passengers. They didn't show you any seating capacity, so it can't be B. C says 2 flights have come in from Fort Lauderdale. And D says most Jamaicans prefer to travel on JetBlue. There's nothing there either about Jamaicans and selecting JetBlue. So we know it can't be B, can't be C. Let's look at A, which says the Inter-Caribbean flight comes from Trinidad and Tobago. So if it's not A, then we know it's going to be B. Let's look at Inter-Caribbean flies from, which is arriving from Turks and Caicos. So we know it's not A. So Inter-Caribbean comes from Turks and Caicos, not here, Cayman Island. All right, not Trinidad and Tobago. Number 6 we were looking at. Sorry. So we know it's not A, not D, not B. So we know it's C. 2 flights have come from Fort Lauderdale. Let's go up and confirm. Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale. Scroll up to C. Arriving from, so here we have Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale. So we have 2 flights, a Spirit and a JetBlue. So that answer is C, Fort Lauderdale having 2 flights coming from there. Number 7. Alright, so the notice below was posted on TikTok. Read it carefully, then use the information to answer items 7 to 11. And you have the Patty King. The best patties island-wide. Please be advised of the following opening hours from Friday, March 29, 2024 to Monday, April 1, 2024. Temporary opening hours. Alright, temporary. It says the locations are over this side. Then you have the day, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because those are the days for these temporary opening hours. And then as the location, you can see the difference. On Friday, you'll see the times. On Saturday, what time. And you see that they're closed on Sunday and Monday. All right, no opening, and they're also closed sometime on Saturday. So let's see where we go. All right, let's look at number 7, as in number 1 item for that advertisement. How many locations does Patty King have in Spanish Town? Let's go back up to the advertisement and see Spanish Town. And we're seeing Spanish Town twice. So they have 2 locations, one in Berkeley Road, one on Oxford Road. So let's go down and see they have 2 locations, and that is B. Moving on, how many locations will be open between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Friday? So from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on a Friday, how many? And Friday is right here, so I'm going to zoom out. How many, or zoom in, will be open between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m.? So let's look. We're seeing one here, 7 to 6. 7 to 6, 7 to 6, 7 to 6. We're not seeing anymore, so it's 3. Let's see where 3 is at. How many locations? That's at B. 3 of them will be open between 7 and 6. Alright, number 9. Which location will be closing the latest overall? So look at the full chart. Which one will be closing the latest overall? So let's see. We're seeing a few of them going up to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 11:30 a.m. These are mornings. 11:30. So we're seeing a 6:30 here, which makes it Manning's Hill. They're closing the latest overall 6:30. Let's see if we have Manning's Hill in the response. Yes, and that's D. Number 10. The notice is most likely for which holiday period? Alright, so we have Christmas, Easter, Independence, Emancipation. Alright, let's look at the advertisement again. Alright, it says, look at the date, Friday, March 29 to Monday, April 1. So that's the biggest giveaway for us. Now let's look at the holidays. Christmas is not in March nor April, so it can't be A. Independence is in August. Emancipation is in August. We know it's B. Easter is within that period. 11. Which statement best explains the reason for posting the notice or this notice? A says Patty King has a lot of customers. B says holidays affect regular opening hours. C, many Jamaicans really like patties. And D, some locations will be closed on weekends. I think the most appropriate will be that the holiday season is going to affect their regular opening hours, because it's even causing them to close on weekends, all right, and change off the opening time. All right, let's go. We have to use these sources now, so we have 2 sources. It says the 2 sources below are about music streaming company Spotify. Examine them carefully, then use the information to answer items 12 to 17. Source 1. It shows us a bar graph showing us the Spotify users by age group. And across to the left here, you have, right here, it's showing you the percentage. So number of users by percent from 0 to 35. And then at the base, they're showing you the age groups. All right, so let's look at it carefully. So you're seeing the age group here. 18 to 24 is 26%. 25 to 34-year-old would account for 29%. And then you're seeing 35 to 44 is 16%. 45 to 54-year-old account for 11%. And anybody 55 and older is a 19%. So let's look at source 2. Source 2 is another bar chart, and it shows now this users not by age group but over the years, and the years would be from 2015 to 2023. And you're seeing, take note, when you do graphs, you look at whatever is missed out. So between from 2015 they're missing 2016, 17, 18 is out, 19, 20 is out, 21, 22 is out. So you know you have a year of growth in between that they're not really showing you, so you have to examine your stuff carefully. Alright, so let's go. Which 2 age groups, two, which two, all right, make up the largest portion of Spotify users. So if it speaks of age group, you can't use source 2 because source 2 speaks of years. Which two age groups? So clearly it is 18 to 24 and 25 to 34. 18 to 24, 25 to 34, and that is at D. That's the two age groups. Let's look at number 13. Which conclusion can best be drawn from the information in source 2? No, source 2. So we don't need to look at source 1. What's the best conclusion to be drawn from the information in source 2? A says the number of Spotify users almost tripled between 2015 and 2019. B says music streaming grew significantly between 2015 and 2023. C says 2015 was an important year for music streaming services. And D says music streaming services provide subscribers with more variety. Alright, so let's look at number of Spotify. That's A. Almost tripled. Oh, not that. Let's scroll. Between 2015 and 2019. Or 2023 it says. Almost tripled between 2015 and 2019. It's tripled long time. Because 2015 is 91. And 2023, it's more than tripled long time. It's almost 5 times. Going 6 times by 2023. Alright, more than tripled. Alright. And it says almost tripled, so it can't be A. B says music streaming grew significantly between 2015 and 2023. Let's look if we have a significant growth. Of course, from 91 million to 574 million. We've gotten close to 500 million in growth from 2015. Because if you were to take 91 from 574, you can work that out. You're looking at some pretty high 400 and something million growth in numbers. So the answer is B. The streaming grew significantly between 2015 and 2023. In which period? Number 14. In which period did Spotify grow the most? Alright, so they're giving a period. 2015 to 2017, that's A. B says 2017 to 19. C, 2019 to 2021. And D saying it's between 21 to 23. Let's look at the table, at the graph. So if we look, let's use the shading on the, let's use the shading to help us. Alright, so let's get it all right here to see where the biggest growth is happening. We could use numbers, but the eye work will work. So let's look at it from here, 2015 to 2017. Look at the piece of growth from here to here. Alright, so you're looking at that. From 2017 to 2019, look if we're pretty close to 1 bar. From here to here, we're a bar and a piece. So none of these don't give us a full bar yet. This will make up a full bar if you add it to this. So let's look at 2021 to 2023. We're almost 2 bars in growth. Get it? So the growth period, biggest growth period would be right here between 2021 and 2023. Let's look at the, so D, 2021 to 2023, which best describes the data pattern in source 2. Right away we see it's increasing every year, it goes up. That's A. Number 16, what is most likely to happen in 2025? Let's look and see where we're at in 2023. So at 2023, because if you realize we're going up by basically 1 million, 2 million, 1 million plus thereabout every year. And if we're at 576 million by 2024, remember I told you that a year is missing between each of them. By 2024, it's going to be 6 million something. And by so we're pretty close to 700 million, I would imagine, by 2025. The answer is D. That's the most appropriate response right here. A saying the number of young people in Spotify may decrease. Not seeing that showing. Another streaming platform may replace Spotify. They're not competing with anybody in the information. We have the sources, so we can't use that. C says Spotify users over 40 may increase. That's a possibility But based on what we're seeing, I think that age group has the least amount, if I'm remembering well. Same thing, yeah, 44, those age group have the least amount. It could be, but the most appropriate answer is that they might end up or could end up having over 700 million users. That's D. Number 17. Which conclusion can be drawn from the two sources? This time we're working with both sources to answer this one. From the two sources, A says Spotify has outperformed all other music streaming companies. We don't have to go any further with that response because Spotify is the only one we're given data on right now in this exam. B says Spotify's appeal to people from different age groups may have contributed to its growth. That could be an answer. Let's read on. C says Spotify has the best features and the widest variety of music. It was not being compared with any other platform, so we can't choose C. D says in 2023, Spotify had nearly 600 million users worldwide. That could be true, but because that is true for source 2, because we see that they have 574 million, which is close to 600 million. But because we're working with both sources now, the most appropriate answer would be B, appealing that this platform appeal to people from different age groups may have contributed to the growth. So because you have a mix of ages in source 1, might have resulted in the spike that we're seeing in growth in source 2. Answer B. Number 18. Here goes. It says, read the information in the passage below, then use it to answer items 18 to 22. Portmore. Just 7 years after Jamaica gained independence, West Indies Home Contractors, which is WIHCON, built the first housing scheme in Portmore. It was called Independence City. This was a response to a national need for affordable housing. The scheme consisted of approximately 1,200 2- and 3-bedroom houses. The next community to be constructed was Edgewater Villas. As Jamaica's population expanded, more community development took place, and here we have them, or some of them. Bridgeport was developed in 1972. We have Passage Fort in 1972, Waterford in 1975, Portsmouth in 1978, Southborough in 1979. Let's continue reading. With the development of Portmore came a growth in its population. When developers started working in the late 1960s, close to 2,000 persons were living in the Portmore area. By 1970, there was a sharp increase in about 5,000 persons. In the 1980s, more schemes were constructed. Cumberland, Westchester, and West Bay phases 1 and 2 were created or erected. During this period, it is estimated that approximately 77,000 persons were residing in Portmore. The beginning of the 1990s saw the construction of West Bay Phase 3 and Bridgeview, with an increase of units at Cumberland. This contributed to the growth in the already booming population. By this time, approximately 93,838 persons were residing in Portmore. The construction of Greater Portmore in the mid-1990s saw an escalation in population, and the number of residents in Portmore almost doubled to roughly 160,000 persons. Along with the housing schemes came schools, a town center, churches, and other facilities. As a result of the rapid development, a law was passed granting Portmore municipal status in 2003. They were given the right to manage their own affairs, including the election of their own mayor. By far, the most considerable aspect of the development of Portmore is its status as the largest residential area in the Caribbean, with over 200,000 residents. Wow. All right, let's continue on to the questions. How many persons were living in Portmore in the 1960s? So let's go back to the source. All right, let's see. So they had started out with 1,200. Let's read on. So right here in the 1960s, when developers, I'm striking out, when developers started working in the late 1960s, close to 2,000 persons. So let's look at the responses. We know it's close to 2,000. A says about 1,200. B says about 2,000. So we don't need to go any further. We know it wasn't 5,000 or 93. Number 19. Which community was the second to be built in Portmore? Let's look which one was built after that one. By 1970 there was a shop in that sky. Let's look. The beginning so you have to read through the construction of that. All right, let's see. All right, so right up here. So the next key right here, the next community to be constructed was Edgewater Villas. Let's see if we're finding Edgewater Villas. And here we have it at C. Edgewater Villas was the next one, or the second one. Which paragraph? Number 20. We're halfway there. I hope you have already liked, given a comment, and if you have not been a subscriber, I hope by now you have subscribed. All right, take a second to do that. It's free of cost to you. Number 20. Which paragraph has the most evidence of Portmore's development? Most evidence now. So let's go up to the paragraphs and see which one is showing us. Yeah, man, whole heap of thing happening in here. So let's number the paragraphs. We know this one is number 1, number 2. Let's go down. Number 3, number 4. So it's asking us which paragraph shows the most development. Let's look at them carefully. For number 1, we know it can't be paragraph 1. Paragraph 2 shows some more development, but they're asking for the most. Let's look at paragraph 3 to see if it has the most. When you read through and you see what was developed, and development will also take in people, because it's the people that's causing them to expand the development. And let's look at paragraph 4. All right, so which paragraph? Is it 1? Is it paragraph 2? Is it paragraph 3? Or is it paragraph 4? I would say most development took place in paragraph 3. 21, which is C for 20. Which best explains how Independence City may have got its name? It says it's close to the municipal building, that's A. B says it was the first community in Portmore. C says it is close to Spanish Town. And D says it was built shortly after independence. And of course the answer is D. So Independence City got its name because it was built shortly after Jamaica gained independence. All right, 22. Which conclusion can be drawn based on evidence from the passage? A says Portmore is only a few miles from Kingston. B, Jamaica has many communities like Portmore. C, Portmore is known as a supreme or as the Sunshine City. Passage did not say that. Passage did not say that. For B either, that Jamaica has many more like that community. Let's look at D. Jamaica's population is growing. Based on the passage, we're seeing that because they continue to have more people, which is an increase in the population. If there's continuous demand for buildings, then we know it's continuous demand or continuous increase in the people population. So it's D. Jamaica's population is growing. Next, reading. Boy, PEP gives you a lot of things to read. Read the passage carefully, then use it to answer items 23 to 28. New school, like you will be going to. All right, 13 subjects, 13 different teachers. All right, guys, let's read again. New school. Here goes. 13 teachers. 13 subjects. 13 different teachers. A deep sigh escaped Terry's lips as she wondered how she would be able to cope with the pressure of being a high school student. She looked at the book list once again and noticed that it listed 4 novels for English literature plus another one for poetry. 5 textbooks for one subject. Another sigh, then her shoulder went limp. Tears began to gather at the corner of her eyes. She quickly wiped them away with the back of her hand so no one would notice. She felt weak, so she had to sit down. There was a sea of students seated on slab benches under the lignum vitae trees. They seemed excited about being in high school. Terry did not feel the same way. She wanted to return to the comfort of her primary school. The bell rang at 7:55 a.m. and all the students moved towards the auditorium. It was spacious on the inside, and more importantly, the auditorium was cooled by a large air-conditioned unit. The auditorium was a large blue and white building with a very high ceiling. There were brown folding chairs laid out in 4 sections. The chairs had the words HCHS printed on the back. There was a stage at the front of the auditorium and a balcony to the left of the stage. 6 form students were sitting in the balcony while the principal and teachers were on the stage. The smell of new uniforms filled the air. Everyone was looking neat and bright-eyed. It made Terry feel good to be a part of the group. The principal got up to speak. She was a tall, slender woman with a warm smile that made you feel welcome. When she began speaking, she won Terry over with her words of welcome. Her words were calm and reassuring, like a mother to a child that was afraid. Terry felt a little better. Ladies of Hartford City High, welcome to our family. Your journey to achieving great things begins here. Give yourselves a round of applause for the hard work you put in so that you could have earned a place here. As our motto says, after the battle, the reward. Welcome. The auditorium erupted with cheers from the new students. It was then that Terry realized that grade 7 was not something to fear. A warm feeling filled her belly, and she felt confident and ready to take on a new chapter of her life. I love this little story. Let's see the questions. In which month are the events in the story most likely have taken place? I don't think we need to go back. This is the start of a new school year for us, which is September. 24. Which 2 paragraphs have the most evidence of the setting? And you know what the setting of the story is, where it happened. All right, let's look. I hope you were listening to the story. Let's look. You have to read. The bell rang. Smell of new uniforms. Set anywhere. Hear them talking about the school itself, and so you have auditorium and those in paragraph 2. Alright, let's look at the responses. So it says paragraphs 1 and 2, and I think so too. A. Let's move on to 25. Who is telling the story? We are sure it's not Terry. A says it's Terry because Terry would be using I and me and my. That's not the case. It's pure she and her and Terry we're hearing. It's not Terry's best friend. We're not hearing my best friend or my friend Terry. No. It's not the first person again. C says first person narrator, and D says it is a third person narrator. It's not the first person narrator, it's the third person. They're referring to as in her, she, and the third person narrator. 26. In which paragraph is the action most intense? Is it paragraph 1, which is A, B says it's paragraph 2, and C says paragraph 3, D saying it's paragraph 4. Which one shows it being most intense? You know what I mean by intense? High. Alright? Which one would you say, guys? This one can be very debatable, but I really think it's paragraph 1 with all the fear and tension and anxiety. I'm gonna stick with paragraph 1. As I said, it's kind of debatable, but that's my answer. 27. Which is an example of figurative language? A says the smell of new uniforms filled the air. B, a deep sigh escaped Terry's lips. C, 13 different teachers. D, the bell rang at 7:55 a.m. Alright, so figurative. A says the smell of new uniforms filled the air. Can that be the case? Can you smell it? Yeah. I am thinking it's between A and B. B says a deep sigh escaped Terry's lips. Now, that's like giving life, escaping as in life, to the sigh. So, I'm thinking it is B. I'm going to take B as the figurative. Alright, so B, because we use escape to really refer to living things, so that's figuratively speaking now to escape, to sigh, escaping from Terry's lips. 28. In which paragraph does the mood of the story begin to change? Begin to change now. So you might have had changes in a few of them, but where do you think it began? All along she's nervy, anxious, can't bother, worried about the subjects and teachers and all of these things. I want to think it's not in paragraph 1, not in 2, because she was still kind of iffy-butty, worried. I think it's paragraph 3 when it speaks of, here it says, Terry felt good to be a part of the group. So here now, after she sees different things happening and she saw the principal, and here in the end again, in paragraph 3, it says Terry felt a little better. So I'm going to stick to paragraph 3, as in when the mood began to change. Alright? And paragraph 3 is at C. 29. We're getting there, guys. This one is a repeat. I think this one came on the 2024 paper. So if you would have gone through that paper, this one is a dead repeat, word for word. So read the article, use the information to answer 29 to 33. The Nokia 3310 is a discontinued mobile phone that was made available to the public on September 1, 2000. It was one of the most successful phones with 126 million units sold worldwide. The phone is still widely acclaimed and was very popular for its durability and extended battery life. I know that for true. The Nokia 3310's main advantage over the other cell phones was a chat function. This is an instant messaging-like feature that works on standard SMS. The 3310 was popular for SMS text messaging because of chat and also because it allowed long messages 3 times the size of a standard SMS text message at 459 characters. It also featured voice dialing for the quick dialing of selected numbers. Guys, this happens when you're reading a lot. Make it kind of start talking nonsense, all right? The 3310 was also known for having many features that were rare at the time. These include useful features such as a calculator, a stopwatch, and a reminder function. It also had 4 games: Pairs 2, Space Impact, Bantu Mai, and the hugely popular Snake 2. The Snake series of games had been popular on Nokia handsets since the late 1990s. Since then, Other cell phones have appeared on the market. These cell phones are like computers and have many more features than the 3310. Apple iPhone and Samsung readily come to mind. Let's look at the items. I keep saying number 1, but it's number 1 for this passage, which is 29. Which tense is used in the second sentence of the paragraph? Is it continuous, future, present, or past? So let's look at the second line, second sentence, and the second sentence starts here at it. So it was. Was is a past. Units sold. So it's in the past tense. So for 29, it's past, which is D. Let's look at 30. Which paragraph has evidence which best indicates how successful the Nokia 3310 was? 3310, which is telling you how successful it was. Which has the best evidence? I would say it is paragraph 1. See, 126 million units were sold. I would take paragraph 1 to be the one that tells you how popular it was. So A, paragraph 1. 31. Chat as used in line 7 is used as what part of speech? So let's look at it. Line 7. Here we have line 5, 6, 7. So right in here. Chat is used as what part of speech? SMS text messages, because of chat, right here, is a noun. Let's see if we have noun. Yes. So the answer is D for 31. Guys, pause to like, subscribe, give a comment. By now you should have. 32. Which cell phone feature was most important to customers at the time the Nokia 3310 came out? We know it's text messaging. So that's B. 33. Which best summarizes the main idea in this article? A says features are what make cell phones most attractive to customers. B, Samsung and iPhone are the most popular cell phones. Not from the passage. C, not the main idea of the passage. C, text messaging is a popular cell phone feature. Yes, but not the main idea. D, most customers use their cell phone for gaming. Not most, and the passage did not say so. The main idea of this feature is that features are what really make cell phones attractive to people. The texting features, this, the that, the games, everything that was on that Nokia 3310 was what really caused it to sell so many units. So it's the features. Let's go on. Bet it's another reading. I know. PEP is good for that. Read the poem below, then use it to answer items 34 to 40. So we're on the very last leg of it. If you have not yet shared the video, please pause to do so and come back. Please ensure you like, you subscribe, and you're making your comments. Alright, let's look at the poem, and it's to take us to the very end of the journey. At the theater, and it's to the lady behind me. Dear madam, you have seen this play? I never saw it till today. You know the details of the plot, but let me tell you, I do not. The author seeks to keep from me the suspect's identity. Hearing a lot of rhymes. And you're not a friend of his if you keep shouting who it is. The actors, in their funny way, have several funny things to say, but they do not amuse me more if you have said them just before. The merit of the drama lies, I understand, in some surprise. But the surprise must now be small, since you have just foretold it all. The lady you have brought with you is, I infer, a half-wit too, but I can understand the piece without assistance from your niece. In short, lady, it would suit me just as well if you were mute. In fact, to make my meaning plain, I trust you will not speak again. And may I add one human touch? Don't breathe upon my neck so much. Very funny. And it's adopted AP Herbert. All right, I like that little poem full of rhymes, which would help you to remember it. Which best describes the mood of the poem? A says it's humorous, B says optimistic, C says melancholy, D says reflective. Not optimistic. No, it's not melancholy, it's not sad. Not reflective, so it's going to be A, which is humorous, because I found it humorous myself. 35. How many persons in total were making it difficult for the persona to enjoy the play? By the persona here is this person will say it is written to the person behind me, the person speaking here. Alright? Dear Madam, so Madam is 1. But let me tell you, the author seeks, so that's 2. The author is seeking to hide it from them. The lady brought a niece, that's 3. With you eyeing for your niece, So I think it's between 2 or 3. Let's look at the responses. 2 or 3. I'm gonna select B. 2 or 3 persons making it difficult for her to enjoy it. 36. From which point of view are the events in the poem being told? From which point of view? Is it first person? Remember, when it's first person, you're going to hear a lot of I, me, myself, mine, right? So, right away, because the lady was speaking about I, me, all right? We know it's first person. So, 36, it was being told from a first person point of view. The lady, that author was right there speaking to the lady behind. 37. The information in the box below expresses the persona's view, and by persona we're still again speaking of the poets, all right? Which best explains the lines in the box? Here are the lines. The lady you have brought with you. Where am I? The lady you have brought with you is, I infer, a half-wit too. So, the persona was who now? Was it that the persona was sitting too far from the stage? Was it that the persona was pleased with the performance of the actors? C says the persona, which is a poet, was concerned about the play being too long. And D says the persona, who is a poet, was annoyed by the woman's conduct. And it has to be D. This woman annoyed her life out. Alright, let's look at 38. Pretty close to the end. Which line from the poem best identifies the message being conveyed by the poet? A says, but let me tell you, I do not. B, I trust you will not speak again. C, and you are not a friend of his. D, don't breathe upon my neck so much. And the answer to 38 is B, I trust you will not speak again, because this person was speaking out the whole play, the whole thing. And this woman wanted them to be quiet so she could, get it for herself. 39. Have you ever watched any movie before, or sitting in a room with anybody who would have watched the movie and they just keep talking about the whole thing and say, yeah, I'm going to dead. Yeah, man, I'm going to run around this and this and I'm going to shoot him, and you just want to get it yourself. And they annoy the life out of you because they're not allowing you to watch it. Put yes in the comment if you've been in some space with somebody like this woman who was sitting behind the poet and just talking out the show, talking out the movie, talking out everything before you could get a chance to watch it for yourself. 39. Who is the suspect most likely to be? A says it is the woman behind the persona. B says it's another member of the audience. C says it's a friend of the persona. Not all. And D says it's a character in the play. The suspect is a character. Alright? Not the woman behind, because it says the suspect is keeping it away from her. Let's look at 40. Oh Lord, we're at the end, guys. The very end. Thank God. 40. Which is the most important theme in the poem? A says family relationships. That's not kind of evident at all. B, being considerate. C, love. D, friendship. We know this woman wanted them to be considerate and to give her a peace of mind and just allow her to watch. Be considerate that I don't know it yet, and I'm not really interested in you telling me before it happens. So the answer for 40 is B, and we have come to the end. Give yourselves a pat on your shoulders if you've made it this far. And again, I want to thank you. Now remember to comment how many you think you got correct on the exam. Also, if you think I have made an error with any of them, point it out to me. I can overlook it and miss it, because when you're going fast, you sometimes make simple errors. But point it out to me if you picked up any, and I can revisit to see whether or not you're correct. All right. So again, thanks for watching. Big up yourselves. Thanks for watching Life 29, Life Forever 2909 with Teacher M. Life Forever 2909 simply means a better, more excellent way. So I'm here to help you learn. Alrighty? Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Tell me which one you need me to do next. We're now down to science and social studies to go. Which one should be next?